morning and welcome to another day of Vlogmas. So today we are going to be working on a really cool lantern project. It is a 3-step process, so it may take us a little longer than some of our others, but that's okay. Crafting takes time. Once again, I'd like to thank Jill from the Scrapaholic. She is sponsoring the 12 Days of Christmas Files mini-series during Vlogmas, so make sure to check her out. As always, today's link to today's project will be in the description below. Are you ready? Let's get started. Because it is a 3-layer process, I have already got them uploaded in a design space and ready to go. Let me show you. Okay, so here are our 3 pieces. We have our window pieces, we have over here, and then we have our 2 green layers. This will be the layer right in front of the windows, and this will be the back layer. So we're going to start by putting them each into our design space mat, sizing them, saving them, and then we will start cutting. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to select our windows right here, and then we're going to come over here to the corner and click Insert Image. I'm going to wait for it to load. Okay, so our windows are loaded, but as you can see, if we go up here to the top, it is showing me that my height is 12.85. Well, that is way too big for our paper. The tallest we'll be able to cut is 11.5. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the width 11.5. And that will condense it down a little bit. So I'm going to write down my dimensions on a piece of paper just so that I make sure our next two are the exact same. So I've just got a little notepad here that I have in my craft room, and my dimensions are 7.219 by 11.5. Okay, so I have that written down. I think I've got that written down on my sheet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save the project. So I'm going to come over here like I always do and save. Just click Save, and I'm going to name it Windows. Save, and we're ready to go. Okay, so now that that's saved, I'm going to go ahead and start a new project. And we're going to upload the second part of our lantern, which is going to be the light green project. So again, we're going to highlight it, click Insert Images, and wait for it to load. Okay, so as you can tell, again, we have too high, so we're going to come over here and we're going to put in our dimensions. 7.219 by 11.5. Alright, so we've got our dimensions in, we're going to save it, and we're going to call it Green 1 because it is the first layer. Okay, Green 1. Save, and now we're going to do the same exact thing for our third layer. New project. Upload. The dark green project. Select, Insert Image. Make sure it's highlighted. Up here, put in our dimensions. 0.5. Alright, and we're going to save this as Green 2. And save. So if you are new to my channel, I do all of my designing and sizing work on my computer where it's a little bit easier to see, and then I save everything and I open it up on my tablet because I have a Bluetooth connection between my tablet and my Cricut, and it eliminates one cord on my desk. Otherwise, my Cricut would be hard connected into my computer and it takes up a USB port. I really like how my tablet and my Cricut can be connected without a cord. So that is how I choose to cut my pieces. So let's pull everything up on the tablet and keep going. So we have our tablet, we have my projects in the cloud pulled up. So the first one I'm going to select is the windows. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to come over here and click Make It. So as you can see, it is putting 3 on this sheet and 1 on the second sheet. We do not have to waste a second piece of paper with all of the space left on the first. So simply what we're going to do is we're going to select it, and we're going to click on these 3 dots up here in the top corner, and we're going to select Move Object. And we're going to tell them we want to move it to mat 1. Now it shows it highlighted here, so I'm simply going to select it again and move it. Now, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of space between them, but there is plenty of space. Because it is not a Cricut file, it automatically brings up a second piece of paper. All you have to do is move things around. To be quite honest, if I wanted to, I could even move this one down here, but it is not that big of a deal. As you can see, there's still plenty of space between the cuts. There's actually, I think, if I deselect it, there's actually a little bit more space in between the top and bottom here than it is laying them side by side. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to click continue. We're going to set up the Cricut, and we're going to cut part 1. While the Cricut is loading on the tablet, I thought I'd go ahead and show you the colors that I've chosen for this project. I've chosen a dark brown for the windows. For the trees, I have picked this light green, and I have picked the dark green for the back and the light green for the front trees. Our second mat was just like the first. We had to move the other piece onto the first mat, just like we did with the brown one. So we're going to go ahead and get this one cut, and we'll do the same with the dark green, and then we'll put it together. have everything cut out. As you see, we have our window frame, our light green, and our dark green. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put my window frame aside, and I'm going to glue these two pieces together because these two pieces form the back of the window scene as so. So I'm going to glue these together just by putting some adhesive around the corners and do all 4 of these, and then we will work on the rest of the lantern. Put together the pieces for the lantern. I will be using my Elmer's glue dot runner as well as my zig pen. We've got one done. I'm going to put the other 3 together and then we'll keep moving. So now that all 4 of our window decor pieces are done, we're going to start adhering them to our frames. So I thought long and hard about this before I started cutting. And I think the easiest way to do this is for me to flip over the window frame, put the adhesive around the edges and through the center, and then gently apply it on top of the background scene. That way I know I don't have to try to figure out where the glue is going to go or anything exactly on the trees. It'll already be on the frame. So I'm going to again be using my Elmer's glue dot runner and my zig pen to finish up this part of the lantern. Remember when you are turning over your window frame is that this is part of folding and adhering. So what you may want to do is, you see the little score lines that are in there. You may want to go ahead and fold them over so that you don't put glue where you don't want it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that folded. That way I know where my glue doesn't need to go. Okay, so this is what it looks like when one pane is done. We have our flap that we'll be able to glue and put together. We've got this piece all completed. So I'm going to go ahead and complete the other 3 parts, and then we're going to complete it and put it all together. So now that I have them all put together, it's time to put together our lantern. So remember that little flap that we folded over earlier? So now we're going to put glue on the outside of it and start putting together our lantern. For this, I will again be using my Elmer's glue dot runner, and I'm simply going to fold over the flap, and I'm going to carefully put glue along that little flap edge. Make sure it's all good and glued, and then I'm going to simply take another of my window frames and put the side that does not have the flap against the side that the glue side that I glued. And just to give it a little bit of extra crease power, I'm going to use one of my Cricut scrapers and just squeegee it along. And that gives us one corner of our lantern. So I'm going to go ahead and complete the rest, and then we'll have a completed lantern. Cute little lantern. And what's wonderful about these is that you can put them as decor for pretty much any type of event. This would look absolutely stunning with a little artificial tea light in the center to kind of put a warm glow through the windows. And, you know, it wasn't as hard to put together as I thought. It was a little step processy with, you know, moving each of the sides onto the extra mat. But if you notice, we saved so much paper. I'll show you what the paper ended up looking like. See, now I have an awesome big scrap piece, hello, that I can cut all this excess off and put this part in my green scrap bin to use for a different project. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this Vlogmas 12 Days of Christmas Files video. Thank you again to Jill from the Scrapaholic for sponsoring. Make sure if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'd really appreciate it if you did. Make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I am Paper, Scissors, and Vacations Oh My, and we'll see you in the theme parks.
Thank you.